This week, 500 Qantas maintenance workers became the latest Victorians to face the harsh reality of life without a job. Those with young families to look after and mortgages to pay now have some big decisions to make, as the search for new jobs could take them a long way from home. Danny Morgan spoke to one man who knows exactly what that's like.
It's another devastating day for Victoria. Another 500 jobs have disappeared.
And where are they going to go? That's part of the problem.
Come across here for a bit of job security and it's just gone out the door.
Qantas workers at Tullamarine and Avalon finally heard the news they were dreading this week. They joined hundreds of Victorian workers from Toyota and Murray Goulburn who have also lost their jobs in recent weeks. Being shown the door is a feeling former BlueScope Steel worker Andrew HORVATT knows only too well. When the ABC caught up with him back in August last year, the father of 5 and 200 of his colleagues had just been sacked as the company scaled back operations in Hastings on the Mornington Peninsula.
Probably will have to sell my home and probably move away, either look at options going west or back to Central Victoria.
As Qantas workers are finding out, it's an unsettling time. The work at BlueScope dried up within 6 weeks, leaving the HORVATT family little time to decide their next move.
Bit of fear, I suppose. What do I do next? Where do I go from here?
The day he comes home and says that's it, you know, the rumours are true and it's all done and dusted, you take a step back and have to have a big think about the future. So, yeah, I remember the day clearly.
At the time, there were very few heavy industry jobs on offer in Hastings. So within weeks, the HORVATTs had moved to Stawell, 300 kilometres away in Western Victoria, where Andrew took up a job at the local gold mine.
With mortgages and life in general, payments have to be upkept and money needs to keep rolling in. So, yeah, the only option that we sort of found within that time frame was to move back up here and keep things rolling.
We were very close in all of our communities, be it church, school, dancing, sport, pony club, you know, all sorts of things. I was on the school council down at school, and so yeah, there was a big impact to us. And as it set in with the kids, of course, you're dealing with your stuff and trying to work through your stuff, and then each and every other day you've got one or other of the children, you know, really upset about it and wondering what the future's going to hold. So it was a trying time.
The stress has continued over the past 6 months. The couple are now paying rent and a mortgage because they haven't been able to sell their Hastings home. And at the gold mine, Andrew is starting at the bottom of the pile, earning half his wage at BlueScope. Lisa HORVATT says it's taken a long time to adjust.
Just coordinating everything. I think the hardest thing was everything was at such short notice. So it's coordinating what you need to for 7 people in a short amount of time and in a very stressed state. So, you know, that was our challenge.
Over the next few weeks and months, Qantas maintenance workers will face many of the same challenges. Do they relocate to the airline's new maintenance base in Brisbane, try their luck at other airlines in Melbourne, or leave the industry altogether? The stress of making such big decisions can take its toll. One of the sacked Qantas workers, Tony CROFT, has seen it all before. He was around when Ansett collapsed in 2001 and watched on as hundreds of colleagues struggled to pick up the pieces.
They just shut the doors on them and nobody knew what was going on with their lives. I went along to their rallies and it was soul-destroying watching those poor people. And I've since heard recently that in the 10, 11 years since, up to 40 odd people have killed themselves. And I didn't want to see that happen here.
The HORVATTs say they and other BlueScope workers have benefited from government assistance packages, but the strain of such major life changes still shows.
We're all still pretty rattled, I think, that, you know, I even had my days. I'd love to be back there. It was my long-term job.
Lisa HORVATT says she feels for the Qantas workers and their families.
There's a gamut of emotions that hit so quickly and you've got so much to deal with, often in a short amount of time. Just do your best, but don't turn on one another, stick together. It's a hard time, but you can come out the other side of it.